Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
It is time for WWE Payback 2023 predictions. I'm Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by Chopper Pete Quinnell. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast channel. Please do press the subscribe button if it's your first time here. Give us a little thumbs up and help us in the algorithm. Let us know in a comment down below, or let us know in the comments down below. God, I was doing so well there.
You were doing so great.
With your thoughts on Payback and your predictions for this card. And hey, while you're in the mood to look at what's in the video description, why don't you click that little link and go to WrestleLeague?
Yeah.
How was your all-in for WrestleLeague? Because that was the start of the new season.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I haven't seen yet.
I had a look. I did okay.
Yeah.
Because by good looking at things, not a lot of people picked Saraya, so I picked up some points there.
Well, that's good.
But I did have Cole winning the belt.
Ooh.
Thankfully, it did not make that my Joker.
Yeah.
I had Punk retaining as my Joker pick. So
I think I did as well.
That scored me some things there. Yeah. But also had like Aussie Open retaining the ROH tag titles.
Yeah.
So I lost points across the card.
Yeah.
But I did get some others right. So I would say I did okay. I did mid-table.
Yeah, I think I'm probably somewhere around there with you.
Other people did way better.
Yes.
But it's still a good time to join, though, because we've only had one show.
Yep.
So I would say getting in now, because it's a double show this weekend. It's Payback and it's All Out.
Yeah.
So now's a really good time to be joining WrestleLeague. There's like 8,500 people as part of WrestleLeague. You predict against each other, and there are prizes to be won. It's a whole lot of fun and prizes to be won, including $250 worth of Amazon gift card vouchers. And you'll be predicting against us as well and show you that you're smarter people than we are. Right, let's get into Payback, Pete.
Let's.
Which is a 6-match card.
Currently.
Well, I think it's going to stay like this because there was a report yesterday that Gunther versus Gable for the IC title, I think, was considered for Payback, but it was moved to Raw because Triple H doesn't want to like bulk out pay-per-views.
Okay.
I think it comes from his NXT days.
Sure.
He much prefers just having 5-6 card shows, particularly for like B shows and stuff. When you get to SummerSlam or Mania, then you can extend things out. But for like the shows in between, I would imagine it's going to stay as a 6-match card.
Sure. But
I think that also means there's only one SmackDown match.
Yes. This is very much a Raw show.
This is a Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah,
There's one SmackDown match on here, which is the US title match. There's no Usos, which also had been reported because they want to try and delay that until WrestleMania. Best of luck to you there, trying to delay that one till Mania. Good luck with that one, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's no Usos. There's no bloodline
There's
at all.
no bloodline on the show. This is the first show with no bloodline since, I guess, Clash of Champions 2020, because SummerSlam 2020 was when Roman came back after the match, so technically no bloodline going into it. And then from then, there's always been bloodline.
There hasn't been a Roman match on anyone because we went part.
Not a Roman match, but there's been Usos and stuff in there as well.
I see. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was sort of like the de facto. Look, the bloodline story is still going on.
The stand-ins,
but this is the first without Roman for a while, because he's been on every pay-per-view this year. It's defended against Owens at the Rumble, Zayn at Elimination Chambers at Mania. Yeah. At the tag match. He had 2 tag matches.
Was it Backlash?
Roman wasn't at Backlash because he had his month off. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's the second that he's missed this year.
Yeah.
But even thinking about that, he was on Survivor Series and he wasn't on Extreme Rules. So it's like he's been on a lot of the shows as of late, but he is not on this one.
No.
And I think that speaks volumes as to people's anticipation for this show, because I feel like there's not a lot of hype going into Payback.
No. This feels like a lot of the matches that could have maybe sort of happened at SummerSlam, but didn't. And they were like,
well, certainly in one case, it was supposed
Payback will do.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's not a... We did the Raw podcast on Tuesday, and there was like this real feeling about it. And as a go-home show, Raw was just...
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
I remarkably, the match I'm most looking forward to is LA Knight versus The Miz.
Yeah.
I guess that is the one match on this card.
Or should I say, yeah. That's how he says it, right?
Good one, Pete.
Yeah.
That is the match I'm most looking forward to. I think Ripley and Rodriguez are gonna, slap 10 bells out of each other.
Sounds good.
Which I'm quite looking forward to. But I think my problem with some of this card is that I feel like it is Do you know what? I'll take that back, actually. I was about to say a lot of it feels like foregone conclusions, but I don't know if that is
I don't think
actually
that's true. Yeah.
It is certainly in the 2 title matches, in the 2 world title matches, I think. Yeah, I wonder if we will get another women's match added to the SmackDown women's title, because there's no Sky on the card yet.
I don't think so.
But apparently Belair's taking time off. Could be upwards of a month, could be 3 months.
Wouldn't surprise me if there's something planned for Fastlane rather than Payback.
Yeah, because they have got Fastlane coming up next before we get to then the next Saudi show, and then it'll be Survivor Series.
Then Survivor Series, yeah.
So I wonder if we're going to have a couple of maybe Fastlane will feel more like the SmackDown.
The SmackDown show.
Yeah.
Branded
The
pay-per-views
branded
are back.
pay-per-views, yeah, but I was told that this would be the best of both worlds, and it starts here tonight.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Let's get into this card, Pete.
Yes.
And we'll kick things off with the Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. It is the champs Owens and Zayn defending against the Judgment Day of Balor and Priest. Now, Rhea Ripley kind of laid down sort of an extra added stip to this match on Raw, where she said, if the Judgment Day don't all hold gold at the end of the night, then some decisions are going to have to be made around here.
Yes.
So I think that can mean 3 things.
Okay.
If I may. Judgment Day win the tag titles here,
Yep.
and Rhea Ripley wins her belt.
Yeah.
Or retains her belt, rather. Option 2 is that Rhea Ripley retains her belt, and Balor and Priest lose, and that will lead into an angle on Raw where some changes need to be made. Option number C is that Balor and Priest lose,
Yeah.
Ripley wins, Priest cashes in and wins the world title. So it's only Balor that's going to walk into Monday Night Raw without any gold around his waist.
That's a good one. That's a good option.
So I think there is a hidden third option in there.
You don't think that Ripley's losing her belt then?
Oh, no.
None of those options.
Yeah. Spoilers for later on, but Rhea Ripley's 100% retaining her world title. But I think, and I had this when I was talking about this on Raw, I feel like it is a foregone conclusion that Owens and Zayn are retaining here. And I think my reasons for that are, so my sort of personal feelings on this, I don't feel like they've done anything with the belts yet. Since winning them, I don't really feel like we've had an Owens and Zayn tag story. Because basically they've just been working with the Judgment Day since June.
Yeah.
And that's just been tags on Raw. It doesn't feel like they've had a story with the Judgment Day. So, yeah, I'm going with Owens and Zayn to retain.
I don't think it's as much of a foregone conclusion, because I think there's every chance that little JD McDonough is the X factor in this one and ensures that Priest and Balor win. Because, as you said, Owens and Zayn haven't done anything with the belts. That's a good reason for them to drop the belts.
That is true.
Yeah, and I personally believe that Owens and Zayn winning the belts was for the moment of them beating the Usos. And they didn't really have any plans beyond it. They went, well, they got the belts now. What do we do with them? I don't know, Judgment Day?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I think that speaks volumes to the fact that they were not the main characters of this Bloodline story.
Absolutely not, yeah.
In the same way, Cody Rhodes was not the main character either.
Yeah. So I think it's not clear-cut that Owens and Zayn are retaining. I'd like to see them retain, and I'd like to see them go on like a big tag team tear and, reinvigorate the division and everything. But I think there's definitely some sort of story happening in this match. Whether it is JD McDonough helping Priest and Balor, accidentally costing Priest and Balor, or Priest and Balor lose clean, and that leads to Priest getting more mad and be like, well, I have to cash in.
Arguments between the two of them.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
JD tries to get involved, and that causes more arguments and friction, which we've seen on Raw.
There's a lot of different ways this can go, and I don't know what one they're going to go for. But I'm going to go with the Judgment Day winning.
Ooh,
yeah.
Interesting.
My instincts just say that they don't really care about KO and Zayn. As a tag team, I should say.
I feel like they do. I feel like they do. They're always very. I mean, they've been main eventing most episodes of Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe my hope for Owens and Zayn winning, or my sort of prediction that this is a foregone conclusion, is just because I just want them to win.
Yeah.
Because I'm waiting for them to get their big storyline.
Yeah.
And they did say on Raw, their backstage segment was that we're ending this feud with the Judgment Day. Not that it's really felt like much of a feud.
Yes.
It's just been a bunch of matches. But they are ending this at Payback.
Yeah.
And then can start their next storyline, whether that's with the New Day, with the Viking Raiders, or with Drew and Riddle.
No, it's going to be KO turning on Sami, obviously.
Well, I'd actually quite like, what I think we wanted as fans was Owens and Zayn versus DIY. Two teams famed for partners turning on them.
Yeah.
And you have the story then of like, oh, which is going to be the team where the partner turns?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that with Drew and Riddle, I suppose, because I don't know if they're dropping the Johnny Gargano thing. But like, I just feel that for me is a much more tantalizing concept. And actually, I think Priest winning the world title is actually way bigger than just winning the tag titles.
Yes, I agree.
Should be anyway.
Yeah.
Up next, it is our SmackDown match of the evening for the United States Championship: Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory. I'll go to you first.
I also don't think this is a foregone conclusion because I think that Rey should retain. But I do think there's a Santos Escobar lurking in the wings. And I know this is probably just me fantasy booking, and there's not that much evidence to suggest that Santos is going to turn on him. But also, if Santos turns on him, Austin Theory can win the belt back. 3-time United States champion Austin Theory. We'd all love that. There is also the chance, though, that Rey retains and then Santos turns on him afterwards. So I think out of the 3 options I've presented, Rey retains in 2 of them. So I'm going to go with Rey retaining.
I'm going with Austin Theory.
Oh, shag.
I think Austin Theory is winning the belt here because I think, and this is what sort of fed into my decision to pick Owens and Zayn. I think this is where you get a turn and a title change. Because I do feel like we're heading towards a Santos turn on the LWO.
Yeah.
And like putting the belt on Rey is lovely and all, but I feel like, I mean, is there more mileage to put on Theory? I think if we put out Theory, we'll all forget that he's got it again.
But then what I'd want then is for Santos to win the belt. And to do that, I think Rey should keep the belt so Santos can beat him for it.
Very true.
You know?
That's actually a good shout.
Yeah.
I think that also means way more for Santos to beat Rey for the belt.
That's my thing.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice, that's a much better story. Yeah. I mean, you've actually convinced me into picking Rey. But I'm sticking to my guns. I'm picking Austin Theory. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship. Rhea in it.
Rhea.
Yeah, it's Rhea in it.
Yep.
I wish I had more to say.
I don't.
But unfortunately, I don't.
I'm looking forward to the match.
I think this match might be real good.
I think it's going to be real good.
I think this could steal the show, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think there's not a lot of interest going in, which means I think it could steal the show because it'll be the one that no one expects to steal the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it is LA Knight versus The Miz in an inter-promotional match.
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah, I said in my 3-count payback prediction video that LA Knight wins easily.
Yes.
And I think that this is going to be an endorsement match. So LA Knight picks up the win and Miz endorses him afterwards.
I don't think LA Knight is winning easily, but I do think he's winning. I think it's not going to be like a dominant squash. He is going to win clean, comfortably, but Miz is going to have more offense than we'd like. I think.
I think to make LA Knight look good, you probably want to give Miz a little bit of something in there as well.
Sure.
Give him some good near falls and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think LA Knight is going to win here, and I could see the Miz then endorsing him afterwards.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or they do more matches.
I don't want that.
They could just
that.
do more stuff. I mean, in fairness, the go home show they did, the go home segment they did on Raw was easily the best of the go home segments on that episode of Raw.
Absolutely. Something that might make you feel better about picking Austin Theory is Austin Theory wins the belt back and LA Knight beats Austin Theory for the US title.
That is
afterwards.
True. I feel like LA Knight ain't picking up any belts anytime soon. He's feuding with The Miz.
He just comes out to say, yeah.
He just comes out and said, yeah. We're lucky he's not on the Waller effect.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes is verged on the Waller effect on this.
What do you think the outcome of that's going to be?
I don't know, Cody Rhodes announces Mania or something.
Sure, yeah.
I think he'll probably give Grayson Waller some crossroads.
Yeah. Maybe he'll cry.
Maybe, Waller? Or
no, Cody. Cody will cry about something.
No, I think he'll come out. They'll do some...
what do you want to talk about?
They'll do some comedy. I'll throw some Bucky O'Harias for comedy. And then he'll give him the Cody Cutter and some crossroads. Yeah. And then Grayson Waller sits there and be like, I've been embarrassed. And Cody leaves. and then on SmackDown, you can just do it again, but with someone else.
God.
Probably John Cena when he's back.
Probably Cena. Why not?
But I was about to pick a winner for Cody Rhodes. I'm picking Cody Rhodes as my winner of the Grayson Waller match. So
did you pick?
I picked LA Knight.
Yeah, so
yeah, and you did. Brings us to what should we do next? Okay, we'll do this for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
I think Rollins retains.
I'm picking Shinsuke Nakamura.
No.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Peter Cornell.
Hi.
Are you high?
Yeah.
Are
No,
you-
I'm not. To clarify, I'm definitely not. No, okay.
Not a cat in hell. Okay, I'll clip this out because I'll play it on the Payback review. Cat in hell's chance that Nakamura's winning this match.
I really hope he wins now.
No, I said that about Asuka, and I think it's because of me that Asuka won the belt.
Yeah.
So if we're all hoping for Nakamura to win, not cat in hell's chance that
Yeah.
Nakamura's winning this belt.
Okay, this is definitely picking with my heart, but I think that Seth is doing nada with it. They've given him an out because he's got an ouchie back. And Nakamura's been killing it. Nakamura's really good as a play. I really like him as a heel. And I think that there's more mileage in Nakamura's world champ than Rollins right now. And I think it makes it way more interesting to give Nakamura the belt than to keep it on Rollins. Granted, they'll keep it on Rollins. But I'm picking with my heart. I want Shinsuke to win. I want them to respond to Nakamura being awesome. Because I think his heel turn could have been very forgettable. And he's been doing really good stuff with it. So I want them to actually like respond to that and be like, oh, okay, well maybe it is worthy of a world title run. It doesn't have to be a long one, but he can win the belt. And I think they've given Rollins an out with his bad back. He can still be protected in defeat. Nakamura can win, and it'll be okay.
I think this is just here to have a nice match.
Probably.
And Rollins gets another win.
Yeah.
This belt don't mean squat.
Yeah.
But I think that Seth is doing his best to make it feel like it is a world title. It doesn't feel like one yet, to me personally. And I think certainly when I look at the anticipation for the matches that he has had since he's won the belt, it doesn't feel world title level. I think Gunther's belt feels way bigger than the world title does.
Agreed.
And that's not just because of the title's lineage, it's just because Gunther's presentation and the way that Gunther has made the belt feel important.
Yes.
I think Seth is doing his best, but a lot is working against him. I don't think that changes by putting the belt on Nakamura. I think, if anything, Seth retaining helps that title more than it does not taking, or rather than taking it off of him.
Probably.
But also, I feel like Priest might cash in.
Yeah, there's every chance that happens.
And Priest wins the belts.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our main event talking point for this podcast. Probably not main event of the show, though.
You don't know.
It might be, you know.
It might.
Honestly, I think looking up and down the card, I think this might be the main event.
It's either going to be this or Rollins Nakamura, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I could see this definitely going on last. It is Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Match was supposed to happen at SummerSlam. It's happening here at Payback. Becky gets a win.
Yep. She sure does.
Yeah,
and this feud ends.
This feud ends. We move on. Apparently,
And don't worry, Lita's probably going to be there as well, mate. Definitely Lita's going to be there.
I'm glad they set up Chekhov's Lita in this storyline, but to not pay that off. Pete, before you say, they did. They absolutely did. Who were the tag champs, Pete? Who were the tag champs? Who were the tag champs, Pete? Answer the question.
Becky and Lita.
All right, and how did this storyline start?
Trish turned on Becky.
Because Trish attacked Lita.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Chekhov's Lita.
Yeah, but then Lita was like, it's fine. And she left.
Apparently so.
She's buddies with Trish. It's fine. She's
Yeah.
like, it's part of business, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll let Becky deal with it.
Chekhov's Lita has not been paid off here, in my estimation of this.
Yeah.
But I think Becky gets the win here. Trish can put her over and give her a good. That good moment, and I think this is a good use of Trish Stratus. Apparently, Trish is hanging around as well. So
Supposedly,
Trish and Zoe, I think, can then be a really good tag team to go up against Chelsea and Piper Niven.
Yeah.
I think that's a great little storyline you could run through into Payback Fastlane. Clash of the Castle.
Paylane.
Paylane.
Fastback.
Unforgiven. Whatever show we're going into next. So I think this is going to be good because there's one of the great strengths that Trish has had since coming back is smoke and mirrors. Money in the Bank, they use really good smoke and mirrors to kind of hide some of Trish, because she's Trish. She's older than she was when she was 20 years ago, and the game has changed drastically in the 20 years that she hasn't been wrestling, right?
I think she's great, though.
She has been good, and a lot of that's the smoke and mirrors. Because you look at the one-on-one match they had in Saudi, and that's probably the weakest outing that they have had.
Yeah.
The stronger stuff they've done is when there's been Gaga around it. And I think because we're in a steel cage, there's your Gaga. And I think that's really going to help the match.
And don't worry, Luke. I know there's a steel cage designed to make sure that Zoe Stark doesn't get involved, but something tells me that Zoe Stark might be getting involved in this match.
I think she might be.
I think she might.
Yeah.
Which will help with the smoke and mirrors also.
Exactly, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this, and I think Becky gets the win.
I agree. 100% Becky gets the win.
So yeah, that's Payback. I think this is going to be a sleeper hit show.
I hope so.
I really think this is going to be a sleeper hit show.
I think on a 6-match card, you have enough time to give all of these matches a chance to shine on this. And I think a lot of the matches with a bit of time have show-stealing potential.
Here is why I think this is going to be a show-stealing, a sleeper hit of why I think this might end up being, could be like, people's pay-per-view of the year. It's a 6-match card, probably going 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Every match is given time within that 2.5 hours. And really, you look up and down that card and you're like, there's no possibility of a dud on there. Like, LA Knight versus Miz is likely going to be good. Mysterio, Austin Theory.
Even if LA Knight and Miz isn't top-tier caliber in-ring wrestling, I think people are going to be so into Knight that it's just going to elevate the match anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. And you look at some of those old NXT cards, there was always that one 3-star match. There was that one Baron Corbin match on there. Or EC3 match that dragged your average down. But that's good. I think those are matches, the good matches to have on a card. And I think Knight and the Theory match are those 2 matches.
Yeah.
But everything else, Becky and Trish, I think is going to be great. Rollins and Nakamura, I think is going to be great. Ripley and Rodriguez, I think is going to be great.
Yeah.
And Owens and Zayn versus the Judgment Day, I've seen it 1,000 times on Raw over the last 3 months, but it's never bad.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be some gaga around there.
It's also a street fight.
It's a street fight, so there's going to be lots of plunder and stuff. I think there's a lot of... So on a 6-match card, there's 4 matches on there that I think could be like 4-star upwards.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a real sleeper hit show.
I agree.
Although there's not a lot of hype going into there. But sometimes when we have those shows where there's not a lot of hype, they end up being banging shows.
Yeah, they exceed our expectations drastically.
So that is it. Let us know what your thoughts are on this show by joining Wrestle League and by leaving a comment down below with your predictions for Payback. Thank you very much for joining me, Pete.
Of course.
We are back tomorrow. You'll be back tomorrow.
I will be back tomorrow.
Reviewing Dynamite.
Yes.
With Oliver Davis.
I shall.
And then on Friday, it will be Dan versus Tempest in all-out predictions.
Yes.
And then on Saturday, it will be the SmackDown podcast with Ollie and Tempest. And then on Sunday, you'll be reviewing Payback with Oliver Davis. Then there'll be all-out live reactions with Tempest and Dan.
Yep.
And then I'll be back on Monday to review All Out.
Yes. So a lot of content, but we will not be doing live reactions for Payback.
No, not doing Payback, but we are doing All Out.
Yes.
That is based on figures. YouTube back-end figures. Apologies if you really want us to do Payback, but...
We're not.
We're not, and I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. And also, if you look at the schedule I just laid out, then there's a lot on.
Content.
There's a lot of content being made. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Please do subscribe and enable notifications. We got a boat ton of content coming.
A boat tone?
I'm still on recover from All In, yeah.
Boat ton?
A boat ton is what I was going for.
A butt ton?
I was going for boat ton, which obviously is not a phrase.
Yeah.
Because it's a boatload.
Boatload?
Yeah.
Boat ton. Butt ton.
Butt ton. We've got a butt ton of comments.
Comments?
Oh man, have you seen the comments on the Pete? I'm still recovering from All In.
Come on, Luke, wrap it up. Let's go home.
No, Pete.
Wrap it up, Luke.
Pete, we're gonna finish this.
Luke, wrap it up.
Pete, we're finishing this strong. Boatload of content coming your way.
Take it home. Punch it.
Jam that jam.
Jam, jam.
It's time for AEW All In Predictions, the biggest wrestling show of all time. Asterix, not included.
Yeah, well, we don't count those shows because attendance there appears to have
Mandatory.
been compulsory.
And it was free to go. This is the largest live gate.
Yeah.
Well, it's Tony Khan.